Hello there everyone and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. Better than starting manned. It is time to make a new attempt at our Dres mission. And I forgot to make a change. I just noticed. You might note I've added a little more RCS fuel to this thing. I've decided, because we don't need solar panels, we're not going to need to do nearly as much maneuvering on this thing. So we're going to ditch the... We're ditching this. We're ditching the reaction wheel. I've consolidated all of my RCS off of the lower stages up into this one tank. There's less RCS total, but it's all concentrated where it will do the most good in the long run. Let's see, what else? I restructured the central stage into a radial stage rather than a vertical stage. It should be a lot more stable now. Added a bit more fuel to the mid-range stage, and of course we have the crazy boosters of doom on the lower stage here. Now then, let's just quickly do a review of our launch systems. Oops. And make sure that we are in a position to actually not have the engines blow off the bottom stage when we try and lift off. So, starting from the top, I finally figured out how to do that, by the way. That's the engine, that's that. That's the central stage and eject the radial. That's the outer stage and eject the lower. This should be the 4 engines in that stage plus the 4 boosters or ejection rockets. This should be the radials for that stage plus its 4 groups of burners, and then the radials and all of the ejection things, and then all the bottom engines in one. Perfect. So our goal today is to put this into orbit. That's really all I want to accomplish today. Maybe look at timing, see if it's feasible with this redesigned thing, or if we should just wait another cycle, orbit around the another full orbital cycle for a better conjunction, because we're actually in almost the worst possible conjunction with Dres right now. I think we're meeting up with Dres at its highest angle, and if I could figure out how to actually get a normal burn to match its orbit before departure, we might be able to still pull it off, but let's let this thing figure out where its center is. Okay, full throttle to the engines. Launching in 3, 2, 1. Center it. Lock it. Okay. We are on a nice, perfect vertical with no shaking, no shimmying, no fuss, no muss. Now, I'm going to be doing a slightly adjusted launch methodology. In terms of how I treat angling my stages as we continue to rise here. But you'll see what I mean as we get into the higher orbit. Now this upper stage, in case you're wondering, weighs about 176 tons, and it has about 700 more delta V than the previous version, approximately. It's not a lot, and that's why I think I'm going to wait for a better departure window, even with this modified version. It should just work better all around. Yeah, so by pushing most of the useful mass up into the upper stages, I think I'll get longer term use out of things like this RCS here. RCS fuel. Now what we're going to do is, right after we eject, we're going to do our usual 45 degree turn at 10,000 meters to start. Won't change that out, because I think that's about the point where I believe the efficiencies actually start with the gravity turns. But what we're going to do is we're going to use the time to apoapsis as our guide to whether or not we can continue turning to a greater and greater angle as we continue to go up through the atmosphere. And basically, as long as the time to apoapsis continues to increase, we can continue to radial or to gravity turn up to a certain point. We'll hit a critical point where it won't make any difference, or where we'll actually potentially start losing altitude, but we'll go as far as about 80 degrees, I think, over from vertical. Okay. So we should be ditching these solid fuel boosters just before we hit the 9,000 meter mark. It's certainly going to take us to 8,000, which is good. Now, yep, just about to 9,000. Goodbye to those. Let them get out of our way. Then they start going all crazy and stuff. And turn. Thank you, thrust vectoring. Thrust vectoring is actually going to save us a lot of RCS on the early stages of our launch here. Alright. Keep us 45 degrees for now. There we go. And in a few moments we're going to lose the radial engines. The next efficiency I think we can get out of this would be asparagus staging. There go those. Now we're losing a bit of speed. We lost just a couple meters per second. I don't think it's enough to be an abort situation, but we'll keep an eye on it. So we're currently at an apoapsis of 24 kilometers. And rising. Good. Now you notice that our time to apoapsis is dropping. That means we're not accelerating as fast as we're rising. Although I think that will bottom out as well. I hope it will. Especially once we ditch this lower stage, which is actually getting to be a pretty big lead weight on the ship. And we'll start getting a much bigger push for our engines once we ditch this lower stage. Because it's the same 4 engines. Actually, they're 4 skippers, or... yeah, I think they're skippers. But they're good mid-atmosphere engines, so that's why we're using them. Okay, and in just a second we'll have burnout. There we go. Ooh. That scares me every time. Now, as long as our thrust vectoring can keep this thing steady. Alright, we hit 30 seconds. I'm going to take another 5 degrees here. Oh, that's all, because we just lost a second. So it's this number right here, this TAP number. What I'm going to do is I'm going to monitor that as we rise, and once this starts actually rising efficiently, we'll continue our turn, thus getting more thrust into the periaps of this thing. And I believe that will actually wind up being a more efficient overall burn to orbit rather than going up and then turning and doing the burn separately. Okay, if I had to guess, I think we've probably hit that critical point, but we'll know when we actually hit 29 seconds. Yep, there it goes. Okay, we're going another 5 degrees. 30 seconds, we're still good. Another 5 degrees. And we're doing this all on thrust vector. This isn't being done on RCS, so we're not wasting any useful materials right now. Alright, still rising. So another 5 degrees. you notice that our periaps number is, it's 32. Is that going to go up to 33? Yep, there it goes. Another 5 degrees. Still rising. Still have half a tank left, and our periaps is rising nicely. Oh, TAP is up to 35 seconds. We can go another 5 degrees. And that's probably hitting our limit. We're very close to it until we're past about 65 kilometers. Apoapsis. Although we could sneak a little bit more out of this. Yeah, there we go. Another 5 degrees. Sure, why not? So now we are at that 80 degree mark that we talked about, 80 degrees from 80 degrees from vertical. And yeah, our apoapsis is still rising. And our periapsis is coming up nicely as well. And there goes our, we're officially in space, which means we can move this right to horizontal now and kill it, because suddenly our apoapsis is 3 minutes away. And now here's where we're going to need the RCS. Alright, let's just let it fly a bit. See, we're almost in orbit. We've got a periaps of 61 kilometers and apoapsis of 77, which means we are really, well, to say, for lack of a better word, we're right where we need to be right now. And now we're in actual orbit, which means we can get ourselves down to 30 seconds and then vector ourselves into a nice clean burn. And we'll hit it right at T-minus 5 or 10, about T-minus 5 seconds. We'll knock the rest of this off. That went okay. I'm actually pretty happy with how that launch went. I think I made much better use of our limited delta V. There we go. Make it into orbit. Bingo! A circularized orbit. Just like that. Look at that. Beautiful. Okay, well that went well. We've got some time. We can have a look at... I didn't do my pre-calculations on the orbit, but I do know... So I'm not going to worry about that right now. We'll just set it up. Let's see, 44.5 degrees from prograde. We need... What about 115 from prograde? Yeah, that's going in the right direction. Set this as our target. Oh, hello. So... I don't suppose it's showing us our pre- and post-departure ascending and descending nodes, is it? No. Alright, let's just make sure it's aligned. Okay. Now, if I was to, say, add a normal twist right there. Ooh, that was almost a... Alright, yeah, that's right. We were off. Let's see. If we're arriving too soon, that means we've missed our optimal window already. Although it looks like we are... Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to hit it. It looks like I waited a lot too late. Yeah. Yeah, I waited quite a bit too late. Now, let's see. If we adjust... I was suggested I might be able to adjust our departure time. Okay. Let's get rid of this second node. Oop. Well, all right. So our best bet will be to go back to ground station, Or just go to contractual obligations debris, fly this beastie, and wait until we're at a new proper orientation for the Kerbal versus... oh, hey, look at that. We're almost in a Kerbal. Let's see. We're going to fly the landed probe right there. And we're going to use that, this grounded craft, as our command, or as our opportunity to control. And there it is. That's the old Duna probe. Outwards. Alright, so where is... Alright, there's the insanity that is Kerbal. So yeah, so our departure should be actually around a 90-degree relationship between Kerbal and Dres. And hopefully by going forward to the next optimal marker. I wish we could go just a little faster than this. This actually is going to take a while, isn't it? Okay, give me a sec. I'll see you when we're done. Hey guys, welcome back. So it's been better part of I don't know, a year or something game time. We've reached our next conjunction with Dres, I think. I don't think we overshot this time. And even if we did, we're leaving at a much more opportune time because it's coming into its low... It's close... It's basically it's coming into its closer... Yeah. Okay, apparently we still aren't catching it at its best. We're catching it... Yeah, it's still coming up. I could even wait another orbital cycle to do this. But maybe we can get away with it this time if our departure window is right. Is that dropping or rising? 5 degrees. Alright, let's zero that out. Go to the second one. We want to bend the normal. Wow, no, we're coming into the worst time for this. That's a lot of delta V we're having. So it's going to be 2,000 delta V to get there and 400 to zero out the prograde. Wow. Are we at least getting close to it this time? Really? Still not even close? Wow. Well, okay, I might not be leaving at the right time, though. Let's take some, as long as the descending nodes are low. Alright. That obviously isn't working. So, no, we're going to wait until we get to a much better time. I'm going to do some off-cam research, I think, and figure out when... Wow, yeah, that is coming into a really bad time. I probably need to depart when it's actually at the peak of its orbit there, don't I? Alright, well, if I leave late, actually, I'm just changing my departure time is making a huge difference to how much I get out of that prograde there. So let's just see. Maybe we can get close. Okay. We already know that fixing the normal is going to... Okay. I just want it to show us how close we're going to be when we reach this point. Why does it only show it when you're almost bang on? Okay, that's right. Well, let's find out. I don't even know which way we're off by right now, but I have a sneaking hunch we're going to miss it. Or we're arriving too soon. I actually can't tell. Alright, I'm going to try and get a better feel for what I need to do here and probably run another couple of orbital cycles until we're descending down into this territory of sanity here. And I will probably catch up with you in the next episode because I'm running out of time here tonight. And unfortunately, I think this research is going to take me a while. So, thanks for watching, everyone. Oh, and Merry Christmas. Bye for now.